All right, so I think we can start now. We have enough participants right now. So before we're going to start, um, my name is Arki Tabanas. I'm going to be your host for this afternoon's webinar. Oh, diba? So right now we are going to discuss in a few more minutes about diversity, inclusivity, and equality by Miss Mandex, which is you can actually see it there, maybe upper left, upper side on your Zoom screen. And while waiting for the others, and if the others will come in a few more minutes, since we're already starting, you can actually like our social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. So you can search it at Sophie Inc. or We Are Sophie. So you can actually search that one right now. And before we can, before we start, just a reminder to all, it's a free zone. This is a free zone. So you can actually jot down all of your questions, thoughts, the agree to disagree situation for us to discuss, anything that would be much appreciated since we're going to discuss a lot more information this afternoon. So, but before that, I'm going to let you show a video so that we can actually know Miss Mandex before her time. Can we do that? All right, let's go.
Armando Mandex Batasila and Digoy Jr. Gandang Tanhay City.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gandang Nicoleta rules for first runner-up is Gandang Gumagete!
Gandang Armando Batasila.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure everybody saw it already. Okay, so before Miss Mandax discuss her, let me introduce Miss Mandax. So she is actually she has a master's in management major in crisis management and disaster resiliency that's ongoing from Philippine Christian University in Malate, Manila. She a Masters of Arts in Education major in General Science or CAR in Central Philippine State University, a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Biological Science in 2012 in Negros Oriental State University, Bais City Campus. Bachelor of Science in Nursing in 2009 from Dipolog Medical Center College Foundation Incorporated in Dipolog City. She is also adjunct lecturer in ALS CUM program for fun, beauty care funded by LGU in Tanjay City and advisor for International Sisterly Formation. That's a gay organization of Tanjay City. Right now, she is also a college instructor rather of health and social sciences in Negros Oriental State University, Bais Campus from 2014 up to the present, and a senior high school teacher, Domingo Leader Ladasma Mapa High School in Tanay City. And as you've seen minutes or a few seconds ago, she is a Miss Greyhound in 2007, Gandang University 2012, Mutya ng Tanhay in 2018, and Gandang Negoroense 2019, or Miss Negros Oriental. Please help me welcome Miss Mandex.
Hi, good afternoon. Do you hear me na?
Yes,
Okay
we
na?
can. Yes, we
Okay.
can.
It is actually an honor and pride to be chosen as your motivational speaker in Sophie Incorporated. So I would like to thank Ai Barika. She's also my Gandang Negorense sister. She was crowned Gandang Negorense World 2009. And of course, this is really an opportunity, and at the same time, this is my privilege to be chosen as your motivational speaker. And of course, the title is, the topic is all about diversity, inclusivity, and equality. So those three words really pertain to the LGBT family. I am part of the LGBT family, and I will always acknowledge myself that I am a member of the society wherein I need to acknowledge myself, the real me, the identity of myself that leads to a genuine happiness of my core value, diba? So I have here a PowerPoint presentation, a short PowerPoint presentation that will guide me and will guide us on how we are going to discuss about the LGBT family. So can I share my PowerPoint na, Sir Art?
Yes, you can. You can actually just.
Okay, sige,
Yeah.
okay lang. So I got this PowerPoint presentation in Google, and I have to acknowledge the author. It's Professor Celieri and Dr. Morphy. So the title is all about teach, not judge. So when we teach, we give awareness, we inform, we educate every single individual in the community of what is all about LGBT family, the issues, frustrations, in the current situations, the different scenarios that pertain to LGBT. So we do not judge, but instead we understand, we listen, we elicit sympathy to those members of the society who are lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and of course, like me, transgenders. Okay, so we have here three words. We have here diversity, inclusivity, and equality. Diversity, that certain word pertains to, we need to acknowledge our individual differences regardless of race, color, economic status, as well as gender orientation or sexuality of the person. So when we talk about diversity, there must have respect because it's a core character that solidifies a unified concept of common understanding. Next, we have inclusivity. Inclusivity is something that we need to acknowledge every member of the society that they must be represented well and they must be heard. It only means that not only men and women who belong to this millennial times, but we also are part of the of a, of a certain society wherein we also need to acknowledge our rights, and we also need to practice our freedom, the way we express ourselves, so that we can be of service to others and beyond we can go beyond an extra mile. When we talk about equality, we always there are actually protests, there are different, hashtags about equality. So when we talk about equality, something that we eliminate discrimination, we discard discrimination, we discard oppression, and we acknowledge every single, individual, that they have the rights, and practicing the way we express and the way we present ourselves to the public, that is a manifestation of equality. That's we have the so-called the constitutional rights wherein we are included and we are not deprived of what we really want to be in the future. The next slide is that the coming out and living openly are not something you do once or even for 1 year. It is a journey that we make every single day of our lives. There are broad stages that people move through on the coming out continuum. For each person, it's a little different, and you may find that at times you move backward and forward through the phases at all once. So when we talk about coming out, it's a process. It's not just a one night only method, but it's a process. It's a process of your journey wherein you are happy of what you really want to be and you become proud of what you have become. So we have here the slides, the opening up to yourself. The first question is, kinsa ko? Who am I? Di ba? Every individual would ask, unsa ganing ko? Kinsa ko? Who am I? And that question would guide us to ask ourselves, what are the things that could make us happy? What are actually the desire of our heart? What are the things that gives us pleasure? And when we going to answer, if we can answer the question, who am I or kinsa ko, we would be able to know the wisdom of our identity, our person, our inner core. Very important kay na siya nato. Because sometimes, if we do not know ourselves, we do not know unsa atong ganahan nga journey sa ato ang kinabuhi. Diba? Next, we have coming out. The laban lang best. This stage, it takes a lot of bravery. It takes a lot of courage. Because when you live in a big and complicated world, not all individuals would accept and give you sympathy. Even if I'm a degree holder, but I could not please everybody. There are individuals who would bash me. There are individuals who will criticize me. And of course, there are sectors in the community who do not understand what is really LGBT family. We have to acknowledge that there are individuals who are homophobic. Naagoy mga tao nga magkinaunsa, bisan pag unsay buhaton nimo, even if you have achieved a lot and if you are member of the community, lisod ka ay na nila masabtan. We have to consider the factors that the culture and the religion that they have, dili pariha nato nga open-minded and diverse. Just like in Saudi Arabia, if they notice na apart ka sa LGBT family or you are a homosexual, there is a possibility nga maharas ka. You would really experience discrimination, sexual violence. Very rampant siya kaayo. So we are just so happy diri sa Philippines, although not all sectors nga makasabot sa ato ang LGBT, but then majority of us naghinay-hinay na naanay process nga they really embrace what is really diversity and inclusivity. And I cannot blame others. Of course, I have friends in Department of Education, in Commission on Higher Education, that they do not have the courage to tell to all the people or to express themselves in public unsa sila. I remember in my childhood days, it was actually my mother who noticed my feminine side. Okay ka isa ako ang mother because ang self-acceptance magsugod magudunta na sa family. But to the side of my father, I was really a frustration. I was really a disappointment because he didn't want to have a homosexual child. But from the time there was really acceptance. That's why I really needed to prove to everybody that I need to be an honor student. I need to excel in sports, joining in the volleyball team, joining in the track and field team, and even in cultural activities because I believe that's the only way na ma-accept ko sa akong family and of course sa members sa society. Kaning coming out, it's not easy. It's really tough. Especially when you came from a conservative family, ibutang nato your family is somewhat prominent in the society and then makunot manggod kaayo na siya. Remember, if you are part of the LGBT family, mingon manggoday ng uban nga. Angayan unta, bright unta, apan bayot. Diba? That is actually the traditional nga mga linya. Or pag he's really handsome, he's really intelligent, but then she's gay. Pero karon in this millennial times, honestly, naanay mga linya nga maingon nga he is bayot. He is a member of the LGBT family, but then he is intelligent, he is handsome, he is empowered. Medyo naana siya, nausog na ang misconception kay in American psychology nga studies daw. Sa unang panahon, gistudihan na siya nga once you are part of the of the homosexual society, na kung i-categorize na siya naan siya studies nga it's a disease, it's part of the mental disorder pero gidisapprove siya kay naa na po ibang studies nga if certain individuals consider that part of the homosexuality, if you are part of the homosexual society, kung kang mental illness or naa siya psychiatric problem, why is it that most homosexuals or members of the LGBT family really excel well? Why is it that they become honor students? Why is it that they graduated magna cum laude? Why is it that they graduated valedictorians? It only means that to be a homosexual is not a contagious, it's not a contagious disease, it's not a disease, and it's not part of the mental health problems. So nawala siya, so gidisapprove ang iyahang studies. Kani nga stage nga opening up to yourself, coming out, those are actually the crucial stages in coming out of your comfort zone. It's not easy. Mismo ako, dili siya lalim. Next, we have here the living openly. Ganahan kong malipay, unsay dapat na kong buhaton. Sometimes, I always remind, sometimes, when I have my self-talk, I always bear in mind that the only way to be happy is to follow your heart and intuition because the rest are just secondary. So ganahan kong malipay, what are the things that would make you happy? Just like me, the things that could make me happy are actually joining beauty pageants, getting different degrees in the postgrad, or having baccalaureate degrees. Those are actually the things nga makaingon ko nga mao ni makalipay nako. And aside from that, it cannot be denied that once you are part of the homosexual society, na siya ginatawag diha nga lifetime partner. You would really know nga, I am part of the homosexual society because I'm in love with a man. Just like me, I am Armando B. Andicoy Jr. My real name is somewhat masculine, but I am in love with a man. Ang makaingon ko nga, wow, I am part of the homosexual society. And I don't need to pretend. Kay kalain mo po kaayo nga, inani ko I am a transgender, I feel, think, and act that I am a woman, and then manguyab ko og bayi, di ba? Murag swahi kaayo, and it won't make me happy. Okay? Next, the question is, unsay dapat na kong buhaton? In these millennial times, it cannot be denied that when you are part of the LGBT family, you do not just excel in beauty and fashion industry, because there are members of the LGBT family who are doctors, lawyers, professors, and it only means that we excel in the four corners of the room. Diba? Kaya sa una man good, when I had my interview sa among mga elder nga mga sisters, tita, why is it ka grade 6 ra ka kutob? Why is it tita nga second year high school ra ka kutob? And their answer was, sa una, during 1980s, 1970s, once bayot ka, ang ginikanan mismo miningon nga, dili na ka muhuman og eskwela ha, kay naanak na ang akong amiga na ay salon, naa siya'y kuan gapangita siya og mga trabahante dito nga parlorista dito na kamo trabaho. So sa family pa lamang, deprived na ang usa ka member sa LGBT, kay inana man ang ginatawag nga interpretation, inana man ilang pag-perceive sa usa ka member sa LGBT nga dili pa eskwelahon. But then kami karon panahon na, it is very important kung members ka sa LGBT family, you need to educate yourselves. You need to prove to everybody nga, isa inani ko. My gender does not limit me in achieving my dreams and aspirations in life. Well, man kung eskwela, I could be a professor, I could be a teacher, I could be a boss in a BPO. Diba? I could be a lawyer, I could be a doctor. So siguro kung naay ginatawag na self-acceptance, and at the same time, you know what is your purpose and you know what are the things that could make you happy, you're going to have a wonderful journey. Diba? Siguro dili man po nato ma-blame kay grab kung if only all members of the LGBT family naaran jud siya courage, naaran jud siya bravery, dili lang jud siya in ana kalisod. But then muagi ta og ginatawag nga process. Sa ako nga pagka-trans, it is very important to have a supportive family. Next, we need to choose our friends wisely. Friends, because it's not all about fun and happiness and life, but then we need to have friends nga makahatag na to og constructive criticisms in such a way nga, what are the things nga mahimo maasin so ko, what are the things nga malipay ko, diha man ka maka-gain og sympathy, at the same time maka-acquire ka og knowledge. Because no matter how intelligent you are and no matter how knowledgeable you are to a certain topic, bisa pag main ka nga memorize nimo ang Philippine Constitution, you could have the theory, but how about the application? And then we have to acknowledge that we will never know everything and we can't have everything. That's why it is very important to listen and to open yourselves about constructive criticisms. Okay, the 2000 State of Higher Education for LGBT People. The study was conducted by Campus Pride and reported by the Chronicle of Higher Education. Almost one quarter, 23% of LGBT staff, faculty, and students reported experiencing harassment defined as any conduct that has interfered with your ability to work or learn. Okay. When I applied for a teaching profession in Negros Oriental State University, Pai City campus, that was 2014, when I passed the teacher's board exam. When I had my interview, I really have the courage to talk to the campus director and to the dean of the College of Arts and Sciences that I don't have plans to cut my hair. I am a cross-dresser. I apply makeup. And sa traditional nga pamaagi manggod sa teaching profession, once you are a board passer and applying for a teaching profession, putlanay guna og buhok. But for me, no. Because the most important is my ability to teach and my passion to teach. And I all have the credentials here to testify that I am qualified. That's why dito gasugod ang nurse nga, that's not a problem, Miss Andi. Sa una, Mr. Karon, Ma'am Andi ko na chuko kaayo. Okay? And there are students who are being discriminated and bullied, especially if one of my sa ako ang mga estudyante sa kadaghan akong na estudyante, if huyang ganing grabe jud kay nang ginatawag nga mga discrimination kana jud pangbubuli even sa Facebook, na uban diha nga ma-harass mangganing. Sometimes ang Department of Education wala magud kaayo gi-emphasize ang ginatawag nga the rights of the LGBT people, and we cannot blame other students or other employees kay dili man gud siya ginatawag nga oriented. It's all about proper dissemination of information. Next, what can we do as educators? Since I am part of the teaching profession, respect. First is we have to respect your students because every student has their struggles. We do not know unsay struggle ana. There are students nga ang ilang struggle kabahig nourishment, kabahig food, basic needs. There are students who don't have problems when it comes to their basic needs, but they have problems when it comes to their ego. They have problems when it comes to their identity. Mo na siya diha nga mo fit ang mga LGBT members nga that they need respect and they need consideration. So ask their name and preferred gender pronouns. Okay? So pareha na ako nga, I am Armando B. Andicoy Jr. Pero somewhat masculine man kay mingon ko nga sa ako ang estudyante, sa mga estudyante nako sa Nurso and sa Department of Education, I would tell them, I am Miss Mandex, or you can call me Ma'am Mandex. I am a teacher, I am a transgender, I'm not a man. Biologically, well, of course, the anatomy and physiology, but the way I perceive and the way I present myself, I am a woman. That's why mingon na sila nga, okay, Ma'am Andicoy, okay, Miss Mandex. Even in College of Criminal Justice Education, men-dominated guna kay sila, so mag-expect ko ka nga tanang mga yaga-yaga, but when I had their class, magklase ko nila, I gain respect. Because I told them, although I am a transgender, I am still your teacher. I don't have plans to harass you. I deserve respect, you respect me. And di ako nakagain o ginatawag nga recognition about respect because certain individuals would respect you if naaga sugod po ang ginatawag na self-respect. Okay? Next, we have sensitivity and understanding of our students. We need to be gender sensitive. Sometimes, naay mga students nga drop out, mangundang, it's because some teachers would require them to have a haircut. Para nako, no haircut. If that makes you happy and if you think that you are beautiful, if you really want to have, if you want to have a casual wear or basta dili lang magbinastos and then decente lang ang imong sinina, go for it. That is your freedom. Okay? Be aware that students that are coming out are in danger of failing academically. As what I've told you, it's really crucial and it's a process. Coming out it's a process of discovering and accepting of who you are. So naay ginatawag diha nga ang students maka-experience pa o ginatawag nga identity versus role confusion, and that is according to Erik Erikson. He was a famous psychologist nga from 13 to 19 diha magsugod ang coming out, wherein maka-experience og identity crisis, but then he has to surpass that certain stage para naa siya fulfillment sa susunod nga stage. And the next stage is all about intimacy versus isolation. Next, don't speak only in binary, male, female, or assume straight, gay language used in the classroom should be inclusive and objective. So do not assume that all your students ay kani siya lalaki rani, ay kanina siya babae rani. So I have to dili nimo siya ibutang sa imong mindset nga I have students who are males and I have students who are females, but you have to consider that your learners are diverse, just like sa BPO, sa Sophie, di ba? It cannot be denied that you have employees who are members of the LGBT family who are qualified, academically qualified, who are competent. muna mo ingon ko starring ko na ako ang gandang negoran si sister si Ay Barika because she's eloquent, she can speak well, and by acknowledging their qualification na ay ginatawag nga inclusivity, di ba? They are being heard to a certain company or school. So na ako'y ginatawag diri nga saying, success starts with a question, who am I? And it corresponds with another question, what is my purpose in life? Who am I? That is the wisdom of your identity. Knowing your true self, and that leads to knowing what is your purpose in life. Diba? It is by embracing the beauty of diversity, inclusivity, and equality that we could go beyond an extra mile and be of service to others. We can be productive individuals if our society, if our modern society would accept us, would not discriminate us, and would give us the proper right to express ourselves. And I believe that the LGBT members in these millennial times are very empowered. We are really flexible. Although we are melodramatic, but then we know how to surpass and overcome our struggles and adversities in life. Daghan kaayuming mga ginatawag nga kadramahan, but when we work and then when we give service to our community, we put actually our 100% heart. And then to be part of the LGBT family, one must be able to realize our existence. We need to be role models. We need to be good examples because we could gain respect, we could gain recognition if we become productive. That's why I always encourage the young members of my organization. I encourage the members of the LGBT family, my students, that they need to educate themselves so that they could have a stable job, that they can be heard, that they can be acknowledged in the society. This topic is really sensitive, and at the same time it will give us a profound meaning. It will give us a profound message that in these millennial times, all we need is the three words: inclusivity, diversity, and equality, so that we would have a better place to live in. And at the same time, the members of the LGBT family could make a difference. That would be all, and thank you.
Okay. So Miss Mandax, thank you for
Hi.
that. We actually had just a few but very important questions from our fellow listeners, our fellow unicorns, or about to be, you know. So we have a few questions here. The first question is, how do I know what pronoun to use or to address someone if I am unsure?
Well, first is that you need to ask a certain person of what is actually the comfortable way of addressing him. That's why it's very important to have a therapeutic communication. For example, if you are unsure of the preference or the sexuality of the person, you can ask, "Hi, what do I call you?" Or what is actually the comfortable name that I could address. Because by having a therapeutic communication, the person could respond well and could respond ethically.
That's actually true because there are situations like especially transgender women, the new bloomer, that they're still
Yes.
having a little transition, so they're still into the process of becoming a woman, right? So thank you. We have a few questions. We have like more questions here. Second question: what was the most difficult part of coming out? This is especially for our closeted unicorns, our mga they're still confused, or if they did know, they have that a little double standarding about their society, because sometimes they feel shy. Should I come
Yes.
out? Should I not come out? Like they having that a little
Mm.
thoughts. Then they started to question their sanity. So the question, what was the most difficult part of coming out? Ikaw, Miss Mandex, I'm pretty sure we had that phase. Like, do we
Yes.
really have to say it or just figure it out? You'll know.
I think the most difficult part was when my father accepted me during my childhood days when he said, magkinaon sa bayot na guni akong anak. But then he's an honor student, he has
It's a
achieved
nice
a
one,
lot, it's
yeah.
okay. But the most difficult part was when you keep on minding what are the opinions and the perceptions of other people. Sometimes your society or the culture that you have is actually the barrier of coming out. And it was actually a tough experience for me because it cannot be denied that no matter how empowered you are, sometimes you listen to the opinions of other people. But once you surpass and you appreciate the art of Dedma and you are happy of what you are doing and you know that you excel, that you focus on your studies and you can be of service to others, the opinions of other people don't matter anymore.
Yes, I think you're really right of the art of Dadma. Can we
Yes,
normalize the art of Dadma? It's not really like Dadma, we don't care. It's just we refuse to
yes,
have that negativity around since the time
yes,
progressed. We should at least, or not us, but you should at least that, it is what it is. And we're not doing anything against
yes.
you. So how about that? All right, so next question, how do I know if I'm gay? So katuning usually mga teenage people, because
Yes,
we
yes.
have, di ba, like as a gay boy, man, or how do it's just me.
Uh-uh.
We had that phase that we can consider ourselves bi, because we are set to like women, and then
And both men and women.
both men and women. So when let's just put in a time capsule way back 2001, when you're gay, as you've mentioned a while before, you have parlor bitaw, you can work there,
Mm.
blah blah blah. How about no? Because I don't even know how to cut paper. Like, just simple. I don't have that one. Because right now, I'm I'm about to like on a phase when you were gay way before you like men. That's it. You are not bound to like women as well. Or
Mm-mm.
if you're gay and then you like trans women, y- we have that bayot pa ka or something like that. So like people still don't understand that. So for the younger ones who's asking this, let's assume, how do I know if I'm gay or lesbian, bisexual, and the rest?
Okay, let me reiterate about the theory of Eric Erikson. He was a psychologist about
Mm-hmm.
identity versus role confusion. During from 13 to 19 years old, it's actually normal when you have identity crisis, and it's the time that you have all the experiments, the
Exactly.
curiosity about your inner core. You can categorize yourself as gay if you are sexually attracted to same sex, because there are gays who are who are actually masculine to look at, but then in their inner core they are actually attracted to men, to same sex, and that is one of the indications that he is really a gay.
Mm-hmm.
If he is romantically attracted or sexually attracted to same sex, and it's an indication that he's gay, because there are gays who could work as a construction worker. There are gays who could work as a military. There are gays who could work as an engineer. But once they are attracted to a certain man, then that's an indication of being a gay. Just like in my part, I am a transgender because I think, I feel, and act like a woman. And that's an indication that I am a transgender because I would love to join beauty pageants, different contests about beauty and femininity. That's an indication of being a transgender.
Exactly. And I think we have actually before, way before, it's for me. I think you can know if you're gay, lesbian, bisexual at the right time. Because there are, as you
Yes.
said, you have curiosity, you have
You
to
expand, you know,
explore.
you explore everything.
Yes, everything. So you would know if you've been through some, points. So then, you know
Mm,
what? I'm bi because I'm equally
mm.
in love or attracted to men and women. Okay. So next question. This is a little bit of a it depends or subjective question. What LGBTQI plus stereotypes do you hate?
Okay. One thing I mean, the stereotype that I hate about the LGBT community is that when people or group of individuals would tell us that we are the carriers of HIV or we are the carriers of AIDS.
Yes, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
one thing I don't like because in the first place, if a certain person, regardless of his gender or identity, if he is practicing sexual promiscuity, that then it could lead to HIV. But if you are a homosexual, if you are a transgender, if you are a lesbian, and if you are practicing faithfulness to your partner, then you are not a candidate for HIV. And I want them to emphasize about HIV it's not all about being biased. It's not all about
The
being lesbian.
stigmatism.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to stop the stigma. And
And
that's one thing I don't like about or I hate about the being stereotyped as the AIDS carrier. We're not.
or not. Some of us even went, let's just say, quarter life crisis and haven't been touched. Let's be real on that. But and
Yes.
as well as you're going to get those viruses or like HIV and AIDS if you don't practice safe sex.
Yes.
So I'm up for it. I mean, condoms would be
Yes.
how much is that? 35, 40 pesos.
Well, we
Then
have free orders.
we have ad free orders. Oh, diba? You can just DM Miss Miss Manek
Hmm.
about that, but that's another situation. And there's another question as well. From a different POV. I'm a straight and or cisgender. Is it really okay to speak up for a group that I am not part of?
Well, it's okay because we live in a society wherein inclusivity must be observed. If you talk with the LGBT members and if you are open and if you are willing to mingle with the LGBT, it only means that you are open-minded, that you are diverse, that you are educated. Because I have friends who are straight, I have friends who are actually real men, who are actually real women. It only means that they have this wisdom that LGBT members could be best friends.
It's
Well,
actually true, very true. Because we're going to be like, example, like, diba, you have your kababata. It just so happened he's straight and cute and handsome. Let's be real. And then
yes.
people would be like, OMG, they're having an affair, like
Mm.
something like that. So I think it's really okay because there are straight. Correct me if I'm wrong. There are straight men and women who are not part of us, but as an inclusivity, there are fellow sisters and brothers,
Yes.
right? Okay. So next question. In your opinion, how long will it take for our society to completely shift to a paradigm wherein being part of the LGBT community will no longer be condemned, ridiculed, and outcasted in years? Oh, diba? You can answer that in a pageantry question. Thank you for that wonderful question.
Okay. As the reigning gandang Negorense
I
29.
love it.
Ayaw,
Yes.
joke. Okay, as a beauty queen, we don't have a perfect community. Even if it takes years or decades, a millennium, we cannot predict if we could have a perfect society wherein discrimination, oppression, and violence of the LGBT, family would be eliminated. Well, as of today, in these millennial times, all we can do is to have proper dissemination of information. We need to educate each citizen. We need to educate our students and at the same time ourselves about the situations, about how we can contribute to a certain society so that the the other sectors of the society could respect and at the same time could embrace our existence. Because in the first place, we cannot have a perfect society.
That's actually true. And although, even though we wanted to have that right now, we can actually trust time. Because way back before history, as it said, Pride Month, which was June, this month,
Yes.
thankfully, we had this years and years and decades ago. So it takes time sometimes. And as part of this community, we don't have to shove everything to other just to believe in us. Let's just, for me lang, we can actually um look at us. There are times that some people are I mean, it's the hardest part, Manggod, is we get generalized so easily,
Yes.
right? So that's the main point. That's why for this the question kay community will no longer be condemned, ridiculed, and outcasted in years. I guess that's the today, that what matters is today. So we can actually let other people educate. Sometimes it's okay for them to disagree because that's their own opinion, but then let them, at some time it will sink in. Okay.
And at the same time, we need to present ourselves in the community in such a way that they would be able to appreciate and recognize us as members of the society. Diba?
Yes,
So we need to be role
exactly.
models, we need to have stable jobs, we need to be of service to others, we need to we need to inculcate the hearts and minds of the younger generation that hey, we are existing and we contribute a lot to this modern society.
Exactly. And please don't forget that change will start in you. Ana gina siya.
Yes.
At the first place is you cannot ask people to change, but let yourself change. Then people will see, and then the ripple of change will just come and flow. All right, so everybody, we still have a few more minutes right now. So if you have any more questions, like, or you maybe share, you can actually share tips. And okay, so we have a little. I think as a trans woman, like it's my friend actually who chatted. A tip as a she really wanted to be a trans woman. She's still in the middle of, but she is. I think let's just put in a sense like for
How
us
old is she?
young, 8, 19, just
She's too young.
too young. So how can you? Maybe you have a tip before some
Yes.
people, because we have that sisterly that since it's the trend, they get to be on the trend without thinking it. Yeah, which we all know that when you're in, there's no way else going back, right? So maybe you have a tip in regards to that as a transgender sister or a mother,
Ate.
ate.
Well, I
Oh,
have several tips to be, I have also undergone transition. If you really want to look like a real woman, you have to undergo hormonal therapy. I took pills several years. I have undergone Botox, minor surgery, and of course, you really need to, seek advice for the doctors. Never overdose yourselves when it comes to the hormonal pills. And of course, you really need to, and at the same time, do not just focus on the physical aspects as a trans woman. You also need to have a degree, you need to have a stable job, and at the same time, you really need to be a role model. Sometimes, Manggod, if you are a transgender, ang mindset magud ay transgender ko, ang akong dapat buhaton ani magpagwapa ra good, mag-take ra good og pills, magsige ra good og party, bahala na dili na ko mo eskwela kay mangita ra jud ko og way nga matagad ko sa mga daghan kayong mga gwapo nga lalaki sa pag ganahan maguta kaayo nga we want to be appreciated by different men. Of course, agi pa na ako sa panahon nga bata ko kaayo, but I realize it's not all about the physical aspects, Manggod. We need to have a career nga mo represent nato ba nga hey, bisan pag ikadagan ako mga downfall, daghan kay kong frustrations, gibully ko, syagitan ko sa mga dalan, but I have a stable job, and at the same time I'm one of the good examples in the community where in daghan kong na-contribute. I have charity works, I have advocacy, so one thing I can advise is ayaw lang jud focus sa physical aspects. Dapat mo focus mo dapat naapog ka imo pong i-consider ang laing aspects nga maka-define nimo of what is meant to be a beautiful transgender.
And thank you.
And I thank you.
Exactly. And speaking of women, because since I'm a woman, I need to be pretty. We have that thing. So I think you can further answer the questions of elephant in the room. Like, what is a woman? Like a sense of a woman. Just so because, diba, we have that thing. Just so because you cannot bear a child, you're not a woman anymore. Ikaw, if as a transgender, as a trans woman, a pretty one, how can you say like what is a woman? Because that's the usual questions, diba? Because they're probably she's not a woman because she can't bear a child, but generally and biologically she is. But do you get it? But as a woman yourself, what can you say about that?
Well, it's not all about bearing a child. If you want to go beyond about the definition of a woman, you become a woman. It's not all about having a feminine feature, but you can be a woman when you become an inspiration and be the voice of other individuals. Pareha na ako nga I am a woman because I always encourage and I find ways na ang akong mga young members sa organization could have educational scholarship. And I focus on at the same time, I make sure nga when my father passed away, I took the major responsibility to be one of the breadwinners in the family. That's an indication of being a real woman. Munang karon sa when I age 30 plus, 32 naman ko, I don't care about physical aspect kaayo, but I care about unsa ako ang ma-contribute sa society, unsa ako ang mahatag sa ako ang family, and that's the essence of the woman, the so-called womanhood.
Okay, so thank you. I think we have a little insight from Panky. Being a woman isn't all about motherhood. There are people who are capable of giving birth but don't want to. That doesn't make them any less of a woman, and that's correct because I'm a pro-choice. It's in all aspect I'm a pro-choice. If you don't want to or you don't need to, then go for it. It doesn't really, you don't have to go just so the society said otherwise. So before we end this, maybe some of you guys still have questions or thoughts that you can jot it in and we can discuss about it, or maybe Miss Mandax has a further information for us to know. Any one of you could be, we still have a few more minutes. I think we still have a few more minutes. And also before we end up, I'm requesting everybody as well to open their camera if you have a camera for us to take a snip shot on our webinar this afternoon. So go a few more seconds, and right before we end up as well, then we can actually do that. Miss Mandax, maybe you have any other information that you can add on to our webinar.
Hi! Madawag lang Japon ko?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Let me end it this way, that we only live once. Life is too short. All we have to do is to follow our heart and intuition, because the rest are just secondary. We must never apologize ourselves of being who we are. We need to be authentic, and it is about being authentic that makes us beautiful inside and out. And it's all at the end of this journey, it is all about being happy of who you are and being proud of what you have become. Once again, I am Miss Mandex Andikoy, a transgender, dignified, and at the same time, will always be proud of my gender identity, knowing your true self, and knowing your purpose that leads to genuine happiness. That will be all. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you so much, Miss Mandax. And right now, I think we can Let me have a little. Okay, so the certificate of appreciation. This certificate is presented to Mandex and Decoy. Thank you so much for her invaluable insights, experience, and expertise shared with the webinar participants entitled Diversity, Inclusivity, and Equality, held during the culmination of Pride Month on June 28th, 2021. Signed by Chief Executive Officer Chloe Franken of the Talom and Cherry Salgado, President, is our HR manager. So there you go. Again, guys, please don't forget to um check our social media account. We got Sophie Inc. We are Sophie. You can check it Instagram, two Instagram accounts. The outsourcing for Cebu people. We got a YouTube, Facebook and YouTube channel as well. So you can check out the AMA for the month of what month it was and other um podcast, that discussion, and also this one upcoming. So thank you so much everyone for having your time here, and thank you so much Miss Mandex and
Thank
K
you, Arky and Ma'am Kay. Thank you kay
Sure.
Satanan.
Thank you, Miss
Okay.
Mandax. Thank
And
you.
of course
Thank
to the
you.
participants we have. So thank you so much Cristela, Mafet, Maria, Rebecca, Christy, Isa, Panky, Frelin, Micah, Transfiguration, and the rest as well. So thank you. This has been Arki Tabanas, and have a nice day ahead.